Hi guys, I hope you all had a holly jolly Christmas. So I am back with probably what is most likely to be my final video of the year. And usually, if you're watching my channel for the last few years, towards the end of the year, I usually do a WWE tier list for like either matches or shows of the year. So I thought for the end of 2025, I'll do a tier list of every WWE PLE we have had this year in 2025. Let's get from the Royal Rumble in January all the way to Survivor Series War Games in November. Obviously, I will not be putting Saturday Night Main Events in here, even though I guess because they're not really PLEs. I would love to put John Cena's in here, but for he had in December. But obviously, they don't really count as PLEs. They're just TV Peacock's TV specials, aren't they? So yes, so enjoy, guys. Let's get to it. So let's get started then with the Royal Rumble we had back in January in Indianapolis. Royal Rumble I thought was good, but Charlotte winning the Rumble I thought was a bit Jey Uso winning the Men's Rumble, eliminating John Cena, was very bold. Even though I think both Rumble matches were really fun. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens put on an absolute barn burner in a ladder match. And DIY and Motor City Machine Guns had a very fun 2 out of 3 falls match. So, despite both Rumble winners being a bit underwhelming, I'll put the Royal Rumble in. I'll put the Royal Rumble in A, because I think, like I said, Cody and KO had a really good match. The tag team match was good, and both Rumbles were really entertaining, but I think both winners were a little bit on the underwhelming side, for sure. And then we had Elimination Chamber in Toronto, and I think we all know where this is going. S tier. Oh yes, Elimination Chamber was an ST PLE. I think both Elimination Chamber matches were really, really fun. Bianca Belair winning the women's, and John Cena winning the men's. We also got a very solid tag team match of Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus teaming up against Nia Jax going against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. And we also got a match of the year contender with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a brutal 27-minute unsanctioned match. And then, of course, at the end, of course, as we all know, the very famous, now iconic John Cena heel turn at the end with the Rock and Travis Scott. Obviously, the heel turn was amazing. The heel run, not so amazing, but that's another video for another time probably. But because of that legendary moment and because of a really good PLE, yeah, Elimination Chamber definitely gets S tier. Then on to WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Now, this obviously is a bit more divisive. I think a lot of fans look back at WrestleMania 41 now and say, on the whole, it was a bit of a letdown of a WrestleMania. Well, in previous years, we've had WrestleMania 40 and WrestleMania 39, but arguably two of the best WrestleManias of all time. So, set the bar very high. But Mania 41 was a bit of a come down. And aside from maybe 2 or 3 good matches, I'm tempted to put Mania 41 in C, but I'm gonna put it in B, just because I think that the triple threat at the end of night 1 with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk was incredible. The triple threat at the beginning of night 2 with Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley was incredible. We also did get some other pretty solid matches. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair was decent. Jacob Fatu and LA Knight was a fun match. What else did we get? Logan Paul and AJ Styles was fine, and everything else was just good to decent, I guess. But then obviously the very, very disappointing main event with John Cena and Cody Rhodes, where they put on a very bang average match, and then Travis Scott coming out at the end and just ruining the whole momentum. And yeah, it was great to see John Cena win a 17th world title, but the match was just awful. So, but because, like I said, of the matches I mentioned previously, it gets B. But if it hadn't been for those matches, yeah, this would have been a very mid WrestleMania for sure. And I really, really hope WrestleMania 42 can get back in that S tier territory, because WrestleMania should always be an A or S show, in my opinion. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even mention Gunther tapping out to Jey Uso at the beginning of night 1. Just, what were they thinking? Oh my god. Then we got Backlash in May, which only a 5-match card, but I thought it was a very solid show, and I'm going to give Backlash an A. Yeah, we got Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre in a really fun Fatal 4-Way match. Lyra Valkyrie and Becky Lynch put on a great match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We got Gunther and Pat McAfee in a very bizarre match, which Gunther just won obviously. And then we got John Cena and Randy Orton one last time in the main event in a great 27-minute match. So yeah, Backlash was very solid. I'm going to give it an A. Not S tier, but it was definitely an A, I'd say, Backlash. And then we got Money in the Bank in June. And I'm going to be honest, this was a very forgettable show. Like, I do not remember a lot from this show. I don't even really remember the women's matches, to be honest. I mean, the women's and the men's winners from the Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank, I'm going to give... that's a B right now. Let me have a quick look at the card again. Yeah, Naomi won the Money in the Bank ladder match. That was cool. Becky Lynch and Lara Valkyrie had another very, very solid match. Seth Rollins won the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. And Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso beat John Cena and Logan Paul in the main event in a tag team match, which meant absolutely nothing. Yeah, it was a fun, I'll say fun, but forgettable show, Money in the Bank this year, so it's going to get no higher than B in my opinion. Yeah. Then we got Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, and this can go in A, because this was actually a pretty fun show. So just going over the card, of course we got the King of the Ring tournament final with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton in a really solid 20-minute match. Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez had a really good street fight. We got Solo Sikoa beating Jacob Fatu for the US Championship, which was quite a big deal, obviously for his character. We got Jade Cargill pretty much squashing Asuka in the Queen of the Ring tournament final. And we got John Cena and CM Punk one last time in the main event in a great 26-minute match. So, yeah, Night of Champions I'm going to give A. It was a very, very good show. Not quite S, but I think a lot of these shows are either going to be A, B, or C. There's not very few shows I think were S tier this year. Well, maybe when we get to something else, but all that too. And then we move on to Evolution in mid-July, where the women finally got their they got all their open PLE back for the first time in 6-7 years, and they smashed it. The women absolutely killed it, and Evolution's going to go in S tier. We got some great matches. We got a fun triple threat match of Becky Lynch, Lara Valkyrie, and Bayley. We got a lot of NXT talent too with JC Jane and Jordan Grace. We got Jade Cargill and Naomi in a no-holds-barred match. We've got Stephanie Vaquia winning the Battle Royal. And in the main event, we got Naomi beating Io Sky and Rhea Ripley in a really fun 26-minute triple threat match. So, I got that wrong, sorry. It was Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. They tore the house down in an amazing match, and then Naomi cashed in at the end. Sorry, it wasn't triple threat at the very end, but yeah. Naomi cashing in at the end. So it was a really good show, man. I'd really hope the women get Evolution back more frequently. Maybe we get it back next year, because it was one of the best shows of the year. Definitely. Then on to SummerSlam in early August, which was a fantastic show. What WrestleMania really should have been this year, but SummerSlam was great. I mean, S tier for me. So many great matches. We got Roman Reigns and Jey Uso beating Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in a really fun tag team match. We got Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair winning the Women's Tag Team Championships. We got Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul beating Randy Orton and Jelly Roll in a fun tag team match. CM Punk and Gunther having a 30-minute war, and the iconic Seth Rollins cashing at the end. Night 2, we got Naomi and beating Rhea Ripley and Io Sky in the triple threat match, which was great. We got a really fun 6-pack tag team ladder match, TLC ladder match with the Wyatt Six and loads of other teams. Great match. We got Becky Lynch and Lara Valkyrie putting on a 25-minute classic. A bit slow, but it was a great match. And at the end, we got Cody Rhodes and John Cena making up their very underwhelming WrestleMania main event with an incredible SummerSlam main event where they put on a 37.5-minute street fight. It was incredible, with Cody Rhodes winning the championship back. Incredible. And then, of course, the return of Brock Lesnar at the very end. But really good show. SummerSlam was incredible. What WrestleMania really should have been. But really, really good SummerSlam. Can't complain. It's just so many great matches. Then we got Clash in Paris. When was Clash in Paris? It was the end of August. This is going to go S tier. I think Clash in Paris was so great. It doesn't get spoken about enough, but the French crowd were incredible, just like they were on Backlash France back in 2024. The French crowd were incredible the entire night. They just do not stop singing. The best audience you've ever seen. And it was a really fun show. We got some great matches. We got Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed putting on a good 22-minute match. Becky Lynch going up against Nikki Bella for the Intercontinental Championship. Rusev and Sheamus putting on a barn burner in a Donnybrook match. John Cena and Logan Paul put on a really solid 26-minute match. And the main event, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Jey Uso and LA Knight in a really solid Fatal 4-Way match. So a really solid card. Probably is more A, but because the French crowd were incredible for that card, they, for my opinion, they fully deserve S tier. Incredible, yeah. It was just French crowds are so good, man. Let's have a WrestleMania in Paris, please. Just do it. And then we had WrestlePalooza in late September. Not many great memories from this show, and I'm gonna put WrestlePalooza in C. This is probably the weakest show of the year in terms of PLEs. Yeah, only really one great match on this card. Everything else was okay to batter. So yeah, Brock Lesnar just squashing John Cena in 8 minutes to kick off the show. What? Still baffling to this day. What was that about? They brought Brock Lesnar back at SummerSlam. It's a waste of one of John Cena's matches on his retirement tour, and he just gets squashed by Brock Lesnar in 8 minutes. It was awful. What a way to start the show. The Vision going up against the Usos was solid, I guess, with LA Knight as the guest referee. Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky stole the show easily with a great singles match for the Women's Championship. The return of AJ Lee with CM Punk was okay, but it went on way too long against Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. It went 30 minutes and didn't need to go that long, and AJ Lee did look really rusty, and of course she hadn't been in the ring in 10 years, but she did look a bit rusty towards the end of the match, but it was fine, but way too long. And then Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre main evented in just a fine 17-minute match, I guess, but it just felt very underwhelming for what they got hyped up so much Wrestlepalooza because it was the first show with ESPN, not Peacock anymore. It got hyped up so much, and it definitely, apart from Stephanie Vaquer and Io Sky, I'd say it definitely under-delivered. Brock Lesnar squashing John Cena was just still several months later. I'm still like, what was that meant to be? Jesus. And the fact John Cena never got a rematch, never got his revenge or anything, just what? It's just so bizarre, man, so bizarre. Then we got Crown Jewel Perth in Australia in October. Now, apart from AJ Styles and John Cena, I do not remember a lot from this show. So let's just have a quick look at the card again. Sorry. So we got Bronson Reed, Roman Reigns in an Australian street fight. Stephanie Vaquer beat Tiffany Stratton in a match that was far too short for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. John Cena and AJ Styles, of course, stole the show with an incredible 27-minute match. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley beat the Kabuki Warriors in a very underwhelming match that I don't even remember. And Seth Rollins beat Cody Rhodes in the main event for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship. Yes, literally I don't remember any of that apart from John Cena and AJ Styles. So I'm gonna put it in B because I really do not care. I could not care less about the Crown Jewel Championships. They need to get rid of them next year. It's just so pointless. They're fighting for an absolute nothing belt, and apart from the absolute match of the year contender, we got John Cena, AJ Styles. I can't remember a lot more about that show, so it's gonna go in B. Yeah. And then we got Survivor Series War Games for the final PLE for WWE at the end of November. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna put Survivor Series War Games in C. I was quite disappointed in this show. I mean, the War Games matches were fine, I guess, but I think the whole War Games match now has kind of run its course. We're getting a bit tired of it. We've had it now for quite a few years. I think they were much better and much more brutal in NXT, and they've kind of been watered down the last few years on the main roster. And this year, I just thought the women's, it was far too safe. There was nowhere near enough crazy weapon spots. Same with the men's. It just kind of, I felt like absolutely nothing was on the line in either of them, really. Even though both of the men's and the women's went 40 minutes. But I don't know, it just felt, I just watching it, and I just remember feeling so underwhelmed. The men's War Games match was so stacked, and I just don't really remember that much, apart from Brock suplexing a few people, and then that hooded figure at the end coming out and helping the Vision win. Yeah, it's just, okay, sure, I guess. And Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella was a bit underwhelming. Not Stephanie Vaquer's fault. Like, I think Nikki Bella was just a bit sloppy in a few spots. And Dominic Mysterio, of course, beating John Cena for the Intercontinental Championship in a fine match, I guess. But I didn't like how John Cena lost that match. But I guess he wanted to put over Dom because he was retiring soon. But yeah, War Games, I think they hyped that up to be a big show. You know, it was in a big arena as well, big baseball arena. But yeah, I think next year, please, can they just bring back the 5-on-5, SmackDown versus Raw? I'm a bit bored of the War Games dynamic now. We've had it since 2022, I think. And obviously since before then on NXT. So yeah, I mean, people have been comparing it to like NXT's Blood and Guts, and it just kicked Survivor Series War Games out of the parks. Was it no, AEW? Yeah. And that was it. That's it, guys. Yeah. So that is my pay-per-view for WWE pay-per-view /PLE 2025 tier list. Do you guys agree? Are there some would you put here higher? Would you put lower? You see, it has been a little bit of a mixed bag. You know, only 2 shows I put in average. Average, 3 in okay / good. A in, well, obviously A is very, very good, and S is a fantastic show. So yeah, Mania. I'm tempted to put Mania in C, but I just think because there were several matches I think that just pushed it up to a B tier. But Mania I think definitely was disappointing this year. But yeah, guys, of course, what do you guys think? Let me know, comment below. I didn't put Saturday Night Main Events in here, like I said, because they're not proper PLEs. Would like to have put John Cena's last one in there. With his big retirement match. I might do another one, maybe in January, for John Cena's like retirement year for this year. But obviously, when it is in January, it will be, of course, in last year. Because I feel like I want to do one of John Cena's retirement year, put his matches in here, the good ones and the bad ones and the mid ones. So, you know, because legendary goat that John Cena was, who's now retired. So yeah, I'll probably will do another tier list for his matches, probably at some point in January. So yeah, guys, this will this will probably be my last video of the year before heading into January 2026. So I just want to say to all my fellow peeps that have watched this year, thank you so much. Views this year have been fantastic. Thank you all so much to everyone who's watched. It's probably been the best year for my channel yet by quite a bit. So lots of videos have done really, really well. So thank you all for your support and watching my videos. Thank you to Callum. Thank you to Sab. Thank you to the lads who join me in my football videos. We're back very soon with them in mid-season review in January. Hope you all have a happy new year, and I'll see you all in January for 2026. God blimey, where's the time going, guys? Thanks, guys. See you all in January. Woo!